Hey everybody, this is Lorelia, and today I wanted to do a video on my homeschool journey with my son. And I'm actually homeschooling my daughter, who is 4 years old. And this video is basically, to just kind of talk about some things that I'm discovering being a homeschool mom. And one thing that I have discovered is that my daughter don't like homeschool. And I know you may be saying, okay, but she's only 4 years old. She doesn't know the difference. But I don't know. I think that now that she has gotten exposed to, I guess, a more structured setting, classroom, children, and that was the setting that she was in last year. She doesn't take it serious, and there has been some struggling that I am actually going through currently because of that. But I am going to stick with it. But I know that the way things look, because I'm not a person who's anti-school. I think sometimes when people find out that you're homeschooling your children or your child, they feel like you're anti-school, you're against the system, and that's not it. I just feel like the setting in school is really not conducive to some children. And I know for my son, who will be 8 in a few days, it was not working for him. It was actually working against him. And I knew that if I did not do something, it was not going to be healthy for any of us. It was taking a toll on me mentally, the struggles that my son was going through, and it was taking a toll on him, and it was causing him to be very angry. I think even as early as I decided to homeschool him at 7, which he technically would be in 2nd grade, and I noticed some struggles at the point that he had got into kindergarten. And prior to that, he had always been in the daycare setting. My son was my first child, so I followed the norm of what people said, you should do with your child. At that time I had a business that I worked out of an office. So once he got to a certain age, I knew that I had to go back to my office, and the type of office setting that I had for my business, having a baby there was not going to work. So I decided I had got a babysitter. So when my son was little, very young, he started off at a daycare in a home, and then from there he migrated to a facility at the point that he was about 18 years old to give him what people say structure. And so I gave him that. So he had always been in a setting prior to kindergarten. And he got some great foundation. I guess the age of preschool between 3 and 4, he was going to a private Christian school, and it was African American, predominantly. I would say 100% African American. Great setting. Afrocentric, in terms of things they taught the children and the character building that they were doing. And I loved it. And but at that point, my business was taking a toll. And so I knew that once he got into kindergarten, there was a good chance that I would not be able to keep him there. So lo and behold, you always think the grass is greener. So I said, oh, well, we live in, a nice community, and my son will get to go to what people would say a good school. It's in the Blue Ribbon School District. And lo and behold, it ended up being a total nightmare. And there are so many factors that I think played a part in it. And this is not to point blame at a certain, demographic or race of people, but there were some things that I liked with him being in 100% Afrocentric type of atmosphere, as opposed to him being now 1% of a predominantly, I'm going to be honest, Caucasian class. And like I said, this is not to make any type of racial stereotypes, but it just didn't work for my child. And like I said, he was in kindergarten, and I'll be very transparent. If a kindergarten child gets over 30-something write-ups, something about that ain't right. And like I said, I knew that was not right. And then at that point, they wanted to classify my child. Now get this, kindergarten, to put him in special ed. And I knew that I always felt like he was bored in class. And, I tell anybody to this day, anybody who is bored in anything they do is going to have ADD. There are certain subject matters that I don't like listening to, I don't like sitting through. And I know if I have to sit through them, I'm going to get, whatever. My attention ain't going to be there. And so when he entered kindergarten, there were some foundations that he had already mastered. That was like, and then when he went to kindergarten, it was like he was being taught it again. And, and I tried to explain to them that it could be that he's just bored, because he knows this, but that can't be the case. No. Not this child. Well, lo and behold, like I said, it just was not a good setting for him. And by the time he got into first grade, they definitely wanted to classify him, because they just said that he was not progressing as the other kids. And I said, well, if you spend 80% of your kindergarten class being sent to the principal's office in kindergarten, how do you expect him to grasp the subject? Well, lo and behold, I knew when second grade came that I was not going to put him in the school setting anymore. And that was the best thing that I could have did. And he's thriving. I completed a whole year. I'm in my second year. There's still some struggles, but he's making great progress. And for me to decide to make the decision, I wouldn't have it any other way. And this video is just to encourage any parent. I don't care what you're facing. Every person and child goes through challenges. But I really feel like that if you have the courage enough to stand up for your child, consider homeschooling. Do not let your child suffer. And I know that there are many factors to play a part. Many people say it's, how is that how are you able to do that? Do you have, a husband? I do have a husband. It is a very big financial strain. I can say that, but I don't look at it as it being a financial strain. There are things that, we do and we make do. And plus, like I said, I just don't look at life like that. I think if you dwell on the fact that it's a financial strain and you don't try to look at, okay, how can I make this happen? You're always going to look at the why it's so impossible instead of looking at the possibilities. So I'm at the 9-minute mark. And like I said, just wanted to kind of talk about some of the things that I'm discovering being a homeschool mom. Still have some challenges with my 4-year-old. But I think that definitely when she gets into kindergarten, she will be she will go to a regular school. Like I said, she misses her daycare. And, me and my husband have been discussing if we should put her back. So again, I hope this video has been helpful. And Look forward to talking to you next video. Bye-bye.